to save seeds and exchange seeds, to save seeds for the future and to exchange seeds for the present as the fundamental premise of seed freedom and seed sovereignty of farmers. This was common law. It was written into national patent laws. It has been subverted by Monsanto's influence on the shaping of the trade-related intellectual property rights of the WTO. But this has further consequences, beginning with genetically engineered crops, which then Monsanto claims they have invented. They have now reached out to patent crops and traits that exist. We have had to personally fight a case a few years ago involving Monsanto in the biopiracy of an ancient Indian wheat variety. Industrial breeding has turned wheat into a high gluten grain. So a lot of people are getting gluten allergies. We have ancient wheats that have not been industrially bred, and one of these was patented through crossbreeding by Monsanto, and we had to fight the case in the European Patent Office in Munich, along with Greenpeace, and they were forced to withdraw this claim. We have documented 530 cases of patenting of climate-resilient crops that are not genetically engineered. They're crops that are tolerant to drought, to floods, to salt. 50% of these climate patents are in Monsanto's hands. And of course, when you have this kind of patenting of genes and patenting of seeds, you get the perverse situation, like the case of Percy Smyser, which those of you who watch the films would have seen. But Percy is a Canadian farmer whose canola crop was contaminated by Monsanto's Roundup Ready canola. And normal environmental law is that the polluter should pay. The polluter pays in any environmental pollution. But in the case of genetic pollution, because of the patent issue, Monsanto claims through pollution the crops of the farmers whose fields they have polluted. And they sued Percy $200,000. The case went all the way to Supreme Court of Canada. The fine was struck down, but some of the judges said, if we allow this kind of patenting, then these are the consequences. Therefore, we must think of the consequences. Monsanto has systematically violated national laws, and I have been witness to this very closely. 97-98 season, they brought the genetically engineered BT cotton into India. BT cotton is a cotton with a gene from a toxic gene from a soil bacterium called Bacillus thuringiensis. It is then put into the plant produces its own pesticide. This is supposed to kill the bollworm. And the trade name that Monsanto therefore has developed for this seed is called Bolgard. Monsanto put huge ads in the newspapers saying by the next season, Indian farmers would be buying this Bolgard cotton. Since I know the laws of my land, I rang up all the ministries involved. I rang up our Environment Ministry, which has laws for approval of genetically engineered organisms on the basis of safety assessment. I asked if they had sought approval, and they said no, they never came to us. I checked with the Agriculture Ministry, where for 2 years seeds should be tested in 22 different agroecological systems. Monsanto had not got to them. They just started the tests. So we filed a case in the Supreme Court, and they were stopped up to 2002, till they went through the loops of the regulatory process. But there are other ways in which Monsanto violates basic laws. Advertisement, for example, is supposed to be ethical. Advertisement becomes unethical if A, you make false claims, and B, you use unethical methods. In India, the BT cotton has been introduced by using saints, gods, and divinities in the advertising. In Punjab, Roundup is sold using Guru Nanak, the founder of the Sikh religion. I have seen ads in Andhra Pradesh seeing Hanuman, the god, the monkey god, who saved the brother of Ram in the Ramayana. And the entire story of the Ramayana is replayed in the advertisements. These ads are on walls. These ads are in videos that go village to village. And innocent peasants having faith in their major scriptures and myths obviously believe in this. The second is false claims about the performance of these crops. So Monsanto's early claims said BT cotton would give 1,500 kilograms per acre of cotton. The average has been 400 to 500 kilograms. They put a poster in villages in the state of Madhya Pradesh with a farmer called Radheshyam saying, I harvested 2,000 kilograms of cotton using the BT cotton. So we hunted out Radheshyam and said, did you really get 2,000 kilograms per acre? He said, I got 2,000 kilograms, but not in 1 acre, in 5 acres. They just dropped the 5. They have advertisements of Tamil Nadu farmers saying, I bought this tractor in this season with the profits I made of BT cotton. The farmer has had that tractor 10 years. So these ethical issues of misleading advertisement, I think, is definitely an issue for deeper investigation. There's the myth of high yield, which is repeatedly failing. There's the myth that this is a technology that can control pests. In fact, in the 20 years now of genetically engineered organisms, the two technologies that have been deployed in application are herbicide-resistant crops and Bt toxin crops. The herbicide-resistant are supposed to control weeds, and the Bt crops are supposed to control pests. In the case of India, every season sees the emergence of new pests. 1 year it's the mealy bug, next year it's the army bug, then it's the aphids and the jassids. Out of China has come a new report through 15-year study of an entire region, which has shown that the cultivation of Bt has created new pests which have then attacked other crops and are damaging the food security of an area. Our studies in the region of Vidarbha in India show a 13-fold increase in pesticide use. 13-fold increase multiplied by 100, then you get the percentage. It's 1,300% increase in pesticide use. Of course, Monsanto continues to claim it is reducing the pesticide burden. Out of the US, out of India, everywhere, herbicide and pesticide use has actually increased as a consequence of GM crops. Monsanto claims that it is helping save 2,050 rupees an acre on pesticides. Our field data shows that in the case of Bt cotton, a farmer on an average spends about 8,600 rupees, and an organic farmer spends 4,000 rupees. The net return to a farmer in the case of Bt cotton, if the farmer has not had a crop failure, is about 2,000. And for the organic farmer, it's about 6,000. So it is not the case that farmers are earning better if there's a crop failure because of either high infestation or the fact that the Bt crop requires irrigation because it's put into hybrids, means additional failure in drought years. So pest attack and drought failure is leading to very frequent levels of failure.